I promised a crappy Photoshop draw my life when I hit 1,000 subs, so here goes. I was born in BC, October 15th, 2029. Mom was super into poetry, and I inherited her passion. Stepdad was a doctor. I took frequent trips to the coastal cities with childhood friends, where the flood defense dikes were being built. There were constant protests from indigenous peoples and supporters about deforestation, overfishing, and emission regulations. River communes complaining that their traditional fishing didn't catch enough anymore. The Inuits because they could no longer predict the weather. High school introduced an environmental awareness program, which gave us some amazing field trips to places where dolphins weren't extinct yet. Then it got scrapped a year later because it was too costly. I had a crush on this tall Vietnamese guy named Will, a grade ahead of me, who left for Emily Carr when he graduated. Upon my graduation, I went there as well. I met Will again while attending a rebooted theater play about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: death, famine, war, and pestilence, and how they couldn't end the world properly because they couldn't get along with one another. I'm sure it was great, but I stopped paying attention when Will started flirting with me. Later, he told me about his family immigrating from Vietnam. Millions of unluckier people had lost their farms from the rising sea level floods and starved. The world was ending, but smaller countries couldn't make it on their own. While I dated Will, my friends at the university started working to bring anthropogenic issues back into the spotlight with coordinated art activism. They said, the only way to inspire change so late is to shift attitudes rather than remind everyone of the same old stakes. Environmentalism for more than just the sake of environmentalism. Stepdad said it was a waste of time, that it wasn't relevant. Environmental themes were just another genre now, just another plot point in storytelling in the culture war. That we were too young, and it wasn't possible to change culture at such scale. Will liked the challenge. He had finished his studies and told me that one of the best ways to bring sustainability back into the cultural mythos was through the usage of narrative. I wasn't so sure that that was the best way, if only because he wanted to be a photographer in the Middle East. Wars were erupting over there again, over clean water and oil. No one could convince Will to stay. Everyone knew Will wanted to be a war photographer, living with his journalist friends in Iraq, shooting award-winning footage. Like clips of children dying of thirst, beside lakes covered in garbage and old dolphin toys. I couldn't go with him because I was in a research program about how integrating cultural values is important to the environmental movement. Will promised to return in a month and said he needed to prove himself, that he could make it on his own. Now all I can think of was my mom's favorite poem. I think it went something like this. Remember the time you lent me your brand new car and I dented it? I thought you'd kill me, but you didn't. And remember when I dragged you to the beach and you said it would rain, and it did? I thought you'd say, I told you so, but you didn't. Remember the times I'd flirt with other boys just to make you jealous, and you were? I thought you'd drop me, but you didn't. There were lots of things you didn't do, but you put up with me, loved me, and protected me. There were lots of things I wanted to make up to you when you returned from Iraq, but you didn't.